feel so alive, alive, inside. I'm breaking through the haze to a brand new day, 'cause my heart has been refined. I feel so alive, inside. I'm breaking through the haze to a brand new day, 'cause my heart has been refined. I feel so alive.
Hello and welcome to the inaugural episode of Fit.Ready.Go, Weight Loss and Healthy Living. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me in this episode is my wife for the very first podcast she's ever recorded. Hello, Mary.
Hello.
So, I think a fun way to introduce this podcast would be to kind of tell a little bit about yourself first so people get to know who you are.
Okay. Well, I'm Mary, and I'm 27 years old now. And I actually am very passionate about health and about just living a healthy lifestyle, because I actually have always struggled with weight since my childhood. I was made fun of in grade school, and it's always something that had bothered me. And I had ended up getting very big in my early adult and I guess my late teen years. And I actually ended up over 300 pounds. With that, I could not ride a bike. My husband, well, who's my husband now, when we were dating, I remember trying to ride a bike, and we got not even around the block, and we had to stop and rest, and then we had to turn around and walk our bikes back. And then I didn't realize really then how big I was. It was kind of a denial to me, I think, where I had put myself. The thing that really opened my eyes is we went for Halloween with some friends to Cedar Point. And my husband and one of the friends, they didn't want to go on the dragster, but my other friend and I, we went and stood in line for the dragster. We were in line for about 3 hours. When we got up to the beginning of the line, we kept texting my husband and our other friend, and we were like, oh, we're going to be on the next one, and so excited. Well, when I went to get on the dragster, I sat down and I couldn't latch the seatbelt. I didn't understand. I remember turning to my friend Josh and saying, I know I'm big, but I'm really not that big. I don't understand why this won't buckle. And I just got off, and I was crying. He was going to get off with me. I told him, no, we waited 3 hours in line. You just ride it, and I'll see you in a few minutes. I got off, and I went over to Steve, and I was in tears. I hadn't realized that I had gotten to the point that I couldn't do the normal things that people could do. So I actually lost, after that, I lost about 20 pounds. That had happened about 7 months before we were to get married. And we were planning the wedding. I already had my dress picked out, all of that. Well, then a boot camp came on the radio. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and try this boot camp. Well, when I went to the boot camp and I went to figure out how much my dress could be taken in, the way my dress was, they told me only 2 sizes. Of course, that was an easy excuse. Well, then I don't need to do this. And I had lost 20 pounds at that point. So I didn't do the boot camp. And we went to Jamaica for our honeymoon. I couldn't ride the couldn't climb the Dunn's River Falls because I knew I didn't have that in me. And we wanted to do the horseback riding. I was over the weight limit. The weight limit was 250. Every day when we were out and about, I had to go back to the room to sleep for probably about 2 to 3 hours because I was just so worn out. I couldn't just do things. And really, all we were doing was we were in the pools and kind of laid around and ate a lot. Yeah. So when I got back, I think that's when my life changed, because I decided to go back and see if there was a way I could do that boot camp and just start later. So I did. I went back I started that boot camp, and
I remember the first night you went, you were like, "I'm never going back. That was pure hell. I can't do this." And I'm like, "No, you can do this. It's just, the beginning of it."
well, there were 2 other girls that night, and all we were doing was running around the room. I mean, we did some other stuff too, but I remember running around the room, and they're just running laps around me. I mean, I couldn't even run around a room, and we're not talking a big room, we're talking a small room. Granted, we had to run around it like 15 times, but still, like 1 or 2 times around that seemed impossible to me. But I continued going, and thanks to that, that's what really put my life on track, because I did that for about 5 months, and I lost about 80 pounds, and then I've continued from there. So.
Yep, and in that, she's managed to force me in her habit to get healthy to also kind of think healthier.
Even though that's still a struggle.
It's still a struggle because, as my regular co-host Blanchard knows, because I talk about it a lot, and he's like, "You just quiet," or he'll say, "Quiet you." He'll get mad at me and say, "You suck for not gaining any weight."
Yes.
Which is
live with that and have trouble with that's
yeah.
it. He's down to 1 bowl of ice cream a week though, so I'm pretty proud. It used to be 7 days a week, so we're down to 1.
I used to blow through a gallon of ice cream a week.
Yeah,
among other things.
Yeah,
I used to go through that, popcorn. I used to eat a lot, and I didn't know what a vegetable was. When we moved out together initially, and then slowly she sneaks more food and different kinds of food in there, and I have no idea what I'm looking at half the time.
Even vegetarian foods and vegan foods now, so that's been fun.
I'm still not a fan of that, but
Thanks to my new friend.
Yeah, I kind of don't have a choice. I don't cook.
But you can make cheese out of vegetables, and it tastes like cheese. It's great.
I like real cheese. It's not as thick and creamy as real cheese, but it still tastes close enough. But it's not. If you know cheese, and you like it swamped on your stuff, then you know the difference. But if you don't get it swamped on, you really won't notice all that much.
Yeah, and when I make my spaghetti squash for my spaghetti,
no,
I have to make him noodles. I try to do whole wheat noodles most of the time,
which I'm fine with.
But
I don't like spaghetti squash, but I'm a picky eater, so.
He is, but at this point, I just kind of cook, and he has to deal with it.
I don't know how to cook, so she kind of feeds me what she wants to feed me, and if I don't eat it, then I'm kind of stuck.
Yes, because we don't keep a lot of processed in the house. That's one thing I've learned is if it's not in the house and it's away, it's better, because if I have Oreos in the house, I mean, I'm not perfect by any means. If there's Oreos in the house, I'm going to eat Oreos. Or if there's something I really like, it's hard for me. Whereas if it's just not here, it's better.
Well, it also makes it harder if one of us decides to crack open the bag first, because usually we both have self-control until that first one opens the bag, and then the bag is gone.
Yeah.
Because, you opened a bag of cookies, I don't know, a while back. But anyways, I took the bag the next, time you weren't home, and I ate the rest of it and put some of it for my lunches, but I did eat half of what was there. It's also why I don't get as much junk at home, is because I have to think a little bit more consciously about it, because what I may do may influence what she may do. So when she's feeling weak and is I really want some ice cream, I'm like, no, we can't have ice cream.
And he's gotten much better for those. I get a lot of questions from my friends that, they have the spouse that's not really, they don't need to lose the weight, or they don't want to do it. That is very difficult. It's very difficult living with someone that doesn't need to lose weight, that can eat anything he wants and not gain anything. That's made it difficult along the journey. He's always been right by my side. I mean, he was with me when I was 300 pounds. He's still with me now. And it was hard. And in the beginning, it was hard. And over the years, it seems that he's getting better. there actually are times that I'm like, I want ice cream. And he's like, no, you can't. Like, we're not having it. So it's nice to finally have him on my side. And sometimes he gives in and he's like, yeah, I want ice cream too. But there's actually been times he's telling me no. So it's nice to finally have that on board, because even though I'm like, man, why don't you just let me have some ice cream? If you can't tell, sweets is what if I didn't like chocolate, I would be skinny, like as skinny as my husband, because chocolate's what is my problem area. So
Yeah, I eat candy. That's probably why I got a lot of metal in my mouth. Because I don't have self-control with that, which is why she doesn't buy it, because if she buys it, then we're paying cavity bills. So, yeah, and then, like, part of, like, the weight issue is we couldn't afford anything, so we used to eat a lot of processed food. And, like, popcorn, hot dogs, boxes of mac and cheese, like, stuff that's high in salt and high in everything else. And then, even though we couldn't afford it, we'd go out to eat a lot, so that really wasn't good either.
And that's another thing I hear all the time is, well, eating healthy is expensive. And it's not. Because so many people that don't cook at home, they eat out. I mean, and so if you're going to McDonald's and buying a McChicken and a fry, let's say, that's $3. And then most people get a pop or something. And then you do that for lunch, and then you may eat something else. Yeah, maybe it is off the dollar menu again, but that's another $3 or $4. So when you average it out, you're talking, $9, $10 a day to go out to eat. So where is that being affordable to eat bad? Even hot dogs, yeah, you can get those in the store for $1 or $2 a pack. But with me now, what I do is because our finances, we have 2 babies. We both work. I work part-time and I'm home with the babies the rest of the time, but it's hard because we do kind of live paycheck to paycheck. But you can make it smarter. Like I go to the meat section and, like my Kroger and any Kroger I've ever been to anyways, they have like reduced meats. And normally I shop in the morning anyways, because that's when I have the babies and he's at work and stuff. So, and they'll have the reduced meats. So I buy it and then I freeze it. So if I know we're low on ground turkey, let's say, they'll have it in the reduced section for maybe $2 a pound. Well, I'm going to pick up a couple of those. I come home, I actually make them into like turkey hamburger type things.
She's got a molder that
Yeah.
puts the ground meat in and then puts it in wax paper.
Yeah, the freezer paper. And then I date it so I know when I got it and I freeze it. Well, that way if I want a turkey burger, I can pull it out and it's already been shaped into my turkey burger. But if I want to make spaghetti out of it or I want to make tacos out of it, it doesn't matter that it's already shaped like that because I'm just going to break it down anyways. So the only time that I might need to go and buy fresh is if I'm going to make meatloaf or something, but really, who likes meatloaf all that much? So that's not very often. That's every once in a while, but not too often do I make that. But so there are definitely ways. And the farmers markets for the vegetables and the fruits and buy whatever's in season. Like right now I've been buying a lot. I'm not a huge fan of squash depending on how it's made, but I do really like spaghetti squash. I make it for my noodle in the fall. It's very cheap. So I make it for my noodles, for my spaghetti in the fall. I make actually maybe I need to put that on my website, that recipe for I make hash browns out of spaghetti squash. And does it taste like the hash browns that you're going to go to a restaurant? Of course not. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it does. But you can make them crispy. You put a little bit of salt on them because I try to control the salt, of course. But you can make healthy food. It's more time consuming, but you can make it affordable for whatever your budget is. And you can also make it taste good.
So there's your food lesson of the day.
Yep.
I will say that, she does know quite a bit about cooking healthy, only for the fact that it's been a process learning it all over the last few years. Mm-hmm. And so what are you hoping to accomplish while you're running through this podcast week to week, or when we get the chance to record it, being that our schedules are hectic with two psychotic children?
Well, we're hoping to at least do one a week. Well, I want to help people. Like, if you have questions, I want you to ask me questions. I want to give you information on some products that I've tried that have done me a huge difference, that have made me more energetic, that have made me feel better, my bones better, maybe less injuries during my workouts, because I do pretty intense workouts. I was doing CrossFit for quite a while.
Well, let's tell them what you were doing while you were pregnant for our first son.
Just because I did insanity the morning that he was born doesn't mean anything, and whatever. Insanity
is something that, like, a lazy nerd like myself couldn't make it past the warm-up stage. And she's sitting here just running circles around me. She's like, "Oh, this is just a warm-up." And I'm like, "You're kidding me."
Oh, you have not seen CrossFit.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Come to one of my CrossFit classes.
I don't want
That's way more intense. But
there are things you can do if you're of the lazy sort that don't want to do a lot of exercise. There's ways that you can eat cleaner without having to necessarily sacrifice all of the foods that you enjoy, and without having to...
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't exercise, because not everybody's blessed with the crazy metabolism I have. But I also should preface this with, my innards are probably not as clean as hers. It's, she could probably run a mile. I'd be wheezing about halfway.
Well, and that's where it's wrong, because with society anymore, if somebody's larger or has a little bit of weight on them, they automatically think, okay, this person doesn't work out. Okay, this person eats like crap. And honestly, actually, I'm still working a little bit on losing a little bit more of my baby weight from our second child and getting back down.
He did more damage than the first one.
Yes, definitely. And some of that was my laziness and I'm going to eat half a bar of chocolate if I want to, but, which I'm working on that now. I lost my train of thought. Wow.
But she's kind of, it's easy to lose your train of thought. My train kind of keeps going sometimes and I forget where I'm at. Blanchard's like, you were talking about this, numbnuts, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then, but anyways, yeah, so she's kind of, she's been doing the CrossFit, she's been kind of working out and trying to add some new selections of food and kind of things to the diet that, because and I should also say that it's not really a diet, it's a lifestyle.
Yes, and that's where a lot of people get stuck. I'm on a diet. No, you're not. You're on a lifestyle change. And
a diet you can flip-flop and yo-yo, whereas, a lifestyle change means that you're more hardcore into having it set in stone.
Yeah, and I really struggled this time around with, after our youngest was born, I had gained 50 pounds. The first I had gained 30. And so I was still far below because I had lost 160. But it was more than I had planned on losing. And about 30 of that came off right away. The other 20, I was struggling with. And so actually I had somebody put something, and I had found that there was going to be a 24-day challenge, and I wanted more details. Well, she gave me more details. And I wasn't sure about it. I was skeptical, and I'm like, well, let me get back to you. Well, then she followed back up with me, and I was still, I don't know, I'm checking into it. And this went on for about 2 months. And finally I just kind of tried to tell her, no, I'm not going to do it. And because I don't know if we can. And so she said, well, why don't we go ahead and talk the business side of it, because I think there's something in this for you. I really, really do. So being skeptical, and I don't like to tell people no. I have an issue with that. So I was like, fine, I'll go ahead and get on the phone with her. It's not going to do anything and be done. before I was off the phone with her, I was signing up. I had my product ordered, and I was ready to go. I was excited. And now I'm ecstatic. I'm so excited because it has made me feel so much better, because even though I was working out, okay, I get up at 4:30 in the morning because I have my CrossFit class at 5. And then I have my 2 babies. I have work. I have the house. I have so much going on. So by the end of the day, I am exhausted. If I didn't sleep during the day, if I could possibly get both babies to maybe sleep for an hour at the same time, I would just go to sleep. Instead of doing something that I can do for myself, I would just go to sleep. So there I'm wasting the 1 hour a day maybe that I can get. And then I was falling asleep within a half hour after the babies are asleep. So when do I get time to do something like this or spend time with my husband? I wasn't. And I was getting frustrated because he didn't want to come to bed with me at 8:30 when he wants to go to bed at 8:30.
Because, like, I like to game, and I don't mind hanging out, but, like, I don't go to sleep earlier than 10:30 because that's just how I'm hardwired. I'm a night person. So, most of the time I'm recording a podcast or I'm playing, lately it's been Battlefield 4, but it's not that I don't want to go to bed. I can't physically sleep that early.
I don't mind. Don't make this out. I so am fine with him doing his podcast and playing his game. I just like a couple nights a week that we actually go to bed together and we're in bed together, and it was to the point that I was going to sleep so early. There wasn't one day a week that I would get him coming to bed with me. So I'm sleeping in bed every single night by myself for hours, and it was frustrating to me. It's frustrating to him because he never gets to actually hang out with me and see me. And after I got on the Abacare products, so much has changed. The Spark, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine not going without the Spark. Even Steve loves the Spark now, which I think is hilarious because he was more skeptical than I was.
I am a hardcore hater of things I don't understand, which most that listen to me in podcasts know that, because I strike out first and then I revisit later with an open mind. To begin with, I'm completely shut down until I see something to prove otherwise. I will say that it started surprising me after she started taking the stuff, and yes, this is kind of an advertisement, but it's not really, because
it's just good product.
Well,
That's just all.
It's not even that. Like, she was surprising me because she was actually awake till 10 o'clock at night, which
lately it's been like 11.
I know, which it used to be like I was surprised if she'd make it to 9. And
I'm not saying there are days that I still fall asleep by 9 or 9:30 because I've just had a long day and I'm just tired. So it definitely is. But see, I was never one of those to take energy drinks because there's just so much in them. There's the sugars and there's the chemicals that they put in them, and I'm not going to put that in my body. Even if it's going to give me energy, I'm not putting that into my body because I am a health conscious person. Why am I going to put that stuff into my body?
There's so much stuff in those drinks that make you crash and burn after you've gotten the energy boost from them. I mean, even things such as pop, which, don't get me wrong, I still love my Coca-Cola.
Spark needs to get a Coca-Cola flavor.
If they get a Coca-Cola flavor, I would easily switch. Like, there's...
Because it does.
I love the taste of Coca-Cola, and that's the major thing. And I will say that one of the side effects I don't like about drinking pop is the sugar. Like, because you feel it when it hits you, and it does something to your head and your chest, and it doesn't feel right. But I like the taste, so that's the only reason I drink it.
But Spark, I mean, they
have fruit punch, and that's like, if I had to drink a fruity flavored, drink, fruit punch is like my go-to. And
I love the pink lemonade.
It turned orange to me, so like it freaked me out. But
it's just because you let it sit there.
Yeah, I did. I let it sit there, but I probably would have been better off drinking it. But the fruit punch one, like I noticed one of the things, because I'm, like I said, a skeptic. I got up on a Monday morning. I hate Mondays. They're like the bane of my existence. I'm a rotten person to be around on Mondays at work. Everybody knows it. But I drank one, made sure that there was nothing else in my system on purpose so that I could give it a clear shot. And I usually have a fog in my head until about 1, 2 in the afternoon, because it's actually when I fully mentally wake up. It went away pretty early in the morning because of drinking it, which was actually surprising to me. And usually it just bothers me.
He told me he would have to drink at least a 2 liter of Coke to get this. And so you're saying all of that sugar, all of that stuff you're putting in your body, to even get that fog out of his head.
And I will say, too, after I drank it, I didn't really have the urge to drink the pop. But, like, if I hadn't drank it, I would have wanted a 2 liter of pop. So...
yeah.
That's our bit of advertisement for the night. So,
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so what is something that you would like to ask of the listeners?
What is the habit? You know, we all have that habit. My habit is sweets. It's very difficult for me to stop eating, especially like right now, if it's... Obviously, you don't know what time it is that we're recording this.
I always tell people what time we're recording, and then I'm like, it releases on this day. Like,
okay, well, it's 9 o'clock, basically. And usually around 8 o'clock, after we get the babies down, we both want to eat a snack. We want to snack on something, whether it be cheese and crackers or something sweet some of the time.
And then we sit in front of the TV.
That's my habit. That's the habit. Yes, it's in front of the TV. But that's my habit. That's the thing I really have to work on. And I do get better, and then I do mess up. And that's what I want everybody to know. I still mess up. It doesn't matter.
It's normal.
I'm not going to be perfect. But what is it? What is the habit that is holding you back from your fitness goals?
Like, for me, I'm lazy, but, like, there's a lot I could do as far as the food eating part. Like, I eat sugary cereals. I eat pop. Well, drink pop, but I eat candy till it's gone. I almost went through a whole bag of Smarties last night while playing a video game. I actually had to put them on top of my desk so that I wouldn't reach for them
That's because
anymore.
I was nice, and I had to go into the dollar store to get gift bags, I think. And I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and get Steve a bag of Smarties. That's like a very big surprise for him. If I get him bag of Smarties... Because we don't, I want to emphasize this, we don't get a bag of Smarties every day. We don't do that. So
that's why I eat them up.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, because then I could span them out and then eat them for days. But I have about a third of the bag left. Go ahead and answer that on this episode post. You can obviously find this on Fit.Ready.Go.com. Under the episode post, episode 1. This will also be on geekcastradio.com, which is my website. So, yes, and I built hers as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, this will be a cross-syndicated show across both websites.
But I will be on answering any questions or reading your answers to my questions. And if you need anything back from me, then I am definitely here to try helping others. So,
and you can get a hold of my wonderful wife on Twitter at FitReady87. She's a newbie to that, so be gentle.
I'm trying.
I'm
Facebook, but I know the Twitter is kind of the new world. I'm just a little...
It depends on personal preference, honestly. Like, some people like Facebook more, and some people like Twitter. I personally hate Facebook, but... That's just me. I like Twitter because it's like kind of short and there's less arguing room. I'm not getting into that area, but so you can do direct messages on there as well, and I'm slowly teaching her how to do that, all of that stuff. So you can get a hold of her on Twitter there. You can get a hold of her on Facebook through facebook.com/leadingothers, which used to be her. It was like a health Facebook fan page that we've repurposed to Fit.Ready.Go. So that's how you can get a hold of us there. You can email her, Mary@fitreadygo.com. And of course, you can obviously comment on this episode post on both websites. And she will check both websites, so if she doesn't, I will make her.
I will, because I really want to help people. And so if there's one question out there that I can answer for somebody, then at least that's one question I've answered.
And I will say she is very passionate about this, because since she got on her she lost the first 80 pounds, she was just like, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. And she's been talking about it for years, wanting to help other people, but hasn't really known how to go about it. And
so I'm really hoping to reach people here, and if you know anybody, just get them to listen to my show. And I really want to help others, because it makes a huge difference.
So if you have any questions, go ahead and contact her in all those ways. Is there anything you'd like to mention before you and I close the show out?
I don't think so.
Alrighty, so until next time, we've been Steve and Mary on Fit.Ready.Go.
You've got to shake, 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 like you change, change, change. You are ready to look so good on you, so shake like you've been changed. Come on, shake, 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 like you change, change, change. Ready to look so good on you, so shake like you've been changed. Come on, shake, shake, shake like you shake, 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 shake like you shake. Great God Almighty done change me. Great God Almighty, He done change me.